One thing that Ben Shapiro and Zack Snyder fans have in common is that they don't understand the core of characters and they just want this specific adaptation that they like. And one of the first things that he says getting into his review immediately proves that.
My standard for Superman movies is 1978 Richard Donner, the best version of Superman. It just is.
And this one sentence makes all the other stupid shit that he has to say make sense. Because when he was watching this movie, he didn't want a Superman movie. He wanted a Richard Donovan Superman movie. This will be proven in abundance later, but first let's get into his criticisms of James Gunn as a director.
James Gunn is the wrong director, writer, creator for this thing. It's an overstuffed movie in every way. It's visually overstuffed. In terms of plot, the plot holes are big enough to drive a truck through them.
There's not a single plot hole in this movie. He either wasn't paying attention or is too stupid, and I'm going with the latter. Because these are the apparent massive plot holes he was talking about.
Plot itself makes very little sense. The plot is basically that Lex Luthor has decided that he is going to make a deal with a foreign politician, is going to invade another country. And Superman stops that invasion. Apparently, Lex wants to use this as an excuse to box up Superman, saying that he's running counter to American foreign policy. In any case, it turns out that what he really wants is to annex half of this separate country. He's going to split it with this other dictator. One major plot hole. Lex Luthor is obviously the smartest person in the film. So smart, he can create his own universes. This is a major plot point. And he is concerned about a relatively small piece of land occupied by third worlders. This is his big plan.
And this is what I mean by he wasn't paying attention. They say in the movie that Lex will make his money back multiple times over from the land's petroleum. And it's rumored that he's trying to build a technological utopia. And no one's building a utopia in this shit with these unstable ass portals. And even then he's still making use of it by turning it into a meta prison. And he uses Superman to pitch it as a prison for the US government to send their metahumans to.
And later it turns out that he said, oh, no, I started that war just so that I could get people to turn against Superman. Okay, well, he does that halfway through the film. And then he jails him, and then he leaves him alive and explains this secondary plan that apparently was his primary plan, sort of. But he doesn't kill Superman at the time for a reason that remains undisclosed.
The reason isn't undisclosed. He told Superman that he has to go and convince the government to kill him. And he can't just kill Superman because if the government decides against killing him and he's dead, Lex is going to jail for murdering a convict. He might have built this plan around killing Superman, but killing Superman wasn't his only goal. He formulated a plan with multiple benefits for him because, like you said,
Lex Luthor is obviously the smartest person in the film.
And now that I'm looking at that again, that's debatable. Mr. Terrific knew what the Pocket Universe was as soon as he saw it, and he knew how to shut it down, meaning he must know how to make one, but he just doesn't have one because it's risky as shit and could destroy the planet. But I don't know why I would expect Ben to know this because his ass got a lobotomy 2 minutes into the movie.
You never really get a kinetic scene of Superman doing something cool.
Damn, there was nothing I could do. They sold the fair, right? They should have 101.
You have multiple scenes of giant heavy objects falling on Superman and Superman stopping the giant heavy objects from falling to save an individual. Again, another plot hole. You'll have giant building. The entire building will fall and he will stop the building from falling to save one person or a chipmunk who is in the way. But it's an entire building full of people.
Ben, maybe if your ass was watching the fucking movie, you would know that there was an evacuation order. That building was empty. You had a better argument, by the way. That shit's crazy. You could have talked about that one time Superman almost got those office workers burnt alive. Granted, he did immediately fly in the sky so that wouldn't happen again, but like that's a better argument than the one you made, my nigga. I don't know what to tell you. So all the plot holes that he was talking about don't fucking exist. So let's just continue with him criticizing James Gunn.
He is not the right person for this film because James Gunn is not capable of delving. He's just not. He's not capable of delving into a single character and examining his motivations and what's interesting about that character. He can't do it with Superman. He can't do it with Lois. He can't do it with Lex.
We know exactly why Superman does what he does. What are you talking about? He protects people because his Kryptonian parents told him to. And then his father tells him what you wanted that to mean means more than what it actually meant. And then he protects people because he wants to. Because that is the core of the Superman character. He's a good person. He doesn't need a reason to help you.
So Green Lantern is there, and he's kind of just a schmuck, and he's there as comic relief. And then you have Mr. Terrific, who's the actual hero of the film, who you learn nothing about other than he's just kind of a noble do-gooder fellow. And you have all these superheroes who are wandering around. You never get any information about them that makes them interesting or sympathetic or even particularly cool.
By information, he doesn't mean powers because we know what their powers are, and he doesn't mean personality because we know those as well. What he really means is backstory. We can't just like a character because they're fun and enjoyable. We have to know every detail about them for them to matter. Plus, this is an introduction movie. We're going to learn more about these characters in future projects.
But you don't know the motivations of any of the villains except for Lex, who it turns out is just really kind of jealous of Superman because Superman has superpowers, and Lex is like, I'm really smart, and Superman is really strong. So why do people like Superman more than they like me?
This is how I know he didn't really watch the movie and he was just looking for things to complain about during it, because you just fundamentally misunderstood his character. Lex hates Superman and all metahumans because they highlight the weakness of humanity, not because it's a popularity contest, you fucking dimwit.
Which is a pretty boring motivation. to be frank.
Y'all remember when villains were just bad people? When they were just evil ass niggas and they didn't have some tragic backstory that made you sympathize with them? Back when Cruella de Vil didn't have some sob story and she was just an evil lady trying to skin puppies just for the fashion? Like, Joker deadass stole her whole flow for real.
Even the moments that are supposed to hit don't hit because there's so much going on in the background because James Gunn cannot control his ADHD. He just cannot. There's a scene where Clark and Lois, they've had a fight and now they're back together and they're having a talk. And it's supposed to be this very intimate talk where they're speaking with each other. And literally outside the window, Green Lantern and Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl are fighting a gigantic sort of eye monster that looks like it's from Suicide Squad.
Bro, fire these fucking editors. You saying James Gunn can control his shit. But this is a world building moment to show that this shit is happening every day no matter the situation. Like, the danger doesn't just stop because Superman decides he doesn't want to fight right now.
The entire plot is a complete mess. If you tried to chart it, there's no way to do it.
Yes, there is. You're just missing a chromosome.
Visuals are, when I say a mess, I mean that the visuals are CGI vomit, like complete CGI vomit. So James Gunn has an addiction to kind of gross and weird imagery, which doesn't really fit in the context of the, again, Americana that is Superman.
Yeah, but you forgot that Superman isn't Americana.
The music, again, John Williams is still alive. Just hire him to do your Superman movie, you stupid.
There it is, that traditionalist elitism.
John Williams, his original Superman score is one of the great scores in all of movie history. It is a phenomenal score, beginning to end. It may be John Williams' best score. I love that score so much. It is a great, great score. It is magic.
Oh my fucking God, that isn't even the theme, you stupid fucking editors. You're gonna piss me off.
And what do? They take the original theme and they play a few notes from it because it's so iconic, and then they underscore it with nothing, with like a pedal tone. It sucks. The music is awful. The score is terrible.
James Brown isn't good anymore. I'm sorry, I don't care how much soul you got. 7 words in a beat ain't cutting it. Times have changed and nowadays you need lyrics to convey emotion. And just like James Brown doesn't hit the same, the 1953 track didn't hit the same. I listened to it and I didn't feel shit. And that's all it said, that the score needed to be modernized. It doesn't mean it's a bad score. It just means that the people who are watching that movie are 60, 70 years old now. And the whole purpose of the score is to invoke emotion. So if it doesn't evoke emotion, it needs to be changed.
So we've been told this is a movie about illegal immigration. Not really. Honestly, like you have to look to find that.
Oh my God, the first reasonable point this nigga's made all day.
James Gunn's politics is so ham-handed, like truly ham-handed, that it doesn't even read as political, it just reads as stupid.
God damn it, Ben. Nigga can't go 2 seconds without saying some stupid shit.
So there's a moment where Clark, he's being arrested, and he says, "Aren't you going to read me my rights?" And one of the members of the government says, "Well, you're now considered an enemy alien. Or you don't have any rights because you're not an American."
Oh my God, these lazy ass editors, bro. Google Superman in a sombrero. Nah, bro, I'm serious. That shit actually pissed me the fuck off. Like, how are these niggas too lazy to use Google, bro? All right, I'm tired of this shit. This nigga just spreading misinformation. I'm risking it.
No one read me my rights. The court decided those rights don't apply to extraterrestrial organisms. Therefore, at this point, Superman, you don't have any rights to read.
All right. Okay, the idea is geopolitically that Moravia has been a longtime ally of the United States. Jarhanpur is a country where we don't know who it's allied with. And it may or may not be run by jihadis, but we don't know. Like, we don't know who it's run by. It doesn't matter.
Oh my God, bro, you lobotomized piece of shit. We know that they're lying. Publicly, Moravia says that they're run by a dictatorship and that they want to free the people of Jahanpur. And then, when the people of Jahanpur are like, no, leave, they say, kill all the people of Jahanpur. And yes, it fucking matters while they're going to war, Ben, because it's genocide. They are genociding these people for their land.
The very beginning of the movie, you are told that Superman is the most powerful metahuman, right? There's like a placard that says 30 years.
What the fuck are they doing? This B-roll isn't even relevant. Who hired these niggas, man?
3 weeks ago, there was an invasion. And now 3 minutes ago, Superman's ass got kicked.
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
He's not very super. He is not the Man of Steel. He is not invulnerable. He gets his ass kicked routinely. He gets locked up in a prison with a character who's making kryptonite out of his hands.
Oh, are you talking about the time that he lost to a stronger, faster clone of himself that was being piloted by a man who created 2,500 different moves specifically engineered to counter him after analyzing his fighting patterns for years? You talking about those fights that he lost? Or are you talking about that time that he turned himself in and willingly let himself get arrested by the United States government?
I'm coming in of my own accord.
And the kryptonite hand guy, his name's Metamorpho, Mr. Analytical.
I'm very analytical about what I think of the movie. He is constantly in victim mode. Like Green Lantern has much more success in this movie.
Green Lantern isn't the target of the main villain.
Mr. Terrific has much more success in this movie than Superman.
You're right, editor. Interesting comic characters? Fuck them, no. Let's just do Batman for the 90th time. Yo, you know who really should have been in this movie? Cyborg again.
Superman's parents from Krypton, if you're going to go through the mythology.
By mythology, he means the backstory of the one that he likes.
Send him to Earth so that he can be a moral guide for people on Earth using his great powers to stop evil from happening to them.
And yeah, he does that. He stops Baravia's genocide. And we see how his morals affect Metropolis when they go out of their way to save their pets during the evacuation.
In this movie, his parents from Krypton send him there. This is the big revelation of the movie. His parents send him there to dominate the life on Earth as an alien invasion, essentially. So immediately you're taking the expectation of what you know about his Krypton parents and flipping it on its head.
That's a stupid complaint. He still upholds the same values as he did before, and he still gets them from his Kryptonian parents. It's just not the message they intended for him.
His parents, Ma and Pa Kent, in the original, they are noble and they are wise. They're kind of salt of the earth.
No, what you mean is that in your favorite version, that's what they are. In the original, they don't exist.
Here, they're basically kind of, I don't know, like down home types who don't seem to, they live in a kind of a crappy house. They're the kind of people who call the TV the box.
So normal old people? Like, what the fuck was your point here? That's the whole point of them. They're supposed to be like normal people.
They're purposely cast as ugly and non-noble.
Ugly, you fucking dick. Like, and they weren't noble before. What is he on? They're normal people. Let me watch this movie. 3 hours? Goddamn! Yeah, I skipped through and I looked at the parts with his parents. They're normal people too.
And by the way, both of them are alive in this, right? The original Superman mythos is that Pa Kent dies.
No, it isn't. That is the one that you like. We have established that they didn't exist in the original, and even when they did exist, they both died.
Anyway, Crypto,
Like and subscribe because I have to deal with these annoying ass editors, bro.
the super dog, is a terrible dog, is a dog that does not, like an idiot dog.
Yeah, but why aren't you happy about that? I thought you liked the originals. Crypto's a horrible dog in the original. Like, he leaves Earth and Superman's like, thank God that nigga's gone. So him being so poorly behaved makes sense. Plus, wouldn't you not even want Crypto in this movie since he wasn't in the 1978 Superman?
Supergirl, who you get introduced to for a hot second at the very end, Supergirl is a drunken teenage brat.
Supergirl isn't a brat. She's someone who's lost everything she's ever loved. We know that this version of Supergirl was old enough to remember Krypton, so we know that she watched everyone she loved die along with the planet. It's honestly more weird that other versions of Supergirl who remember this aren't more depressed.
Right? Like anything that you think you know about the Superman universe, James Gunn is determined to debunk.
He's not debunking anything. Just because James Gunn has his own adaptation doesn't mean the other ones don't exist anymore.
I think that it's a betrayal of the original IP.
No, it's not a betrayal of the IP. It's a betrayal of the adaptation of the IP that you like.
James Gunn's sensibility is always to be subversive. That is what he does. He does subversive in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? He takes a comic book movie and he turns it into sort of a potty-mouthed sitcom.
Don't drink fountain water, you idiot. That's disgusting.
He calls it potty mouth, but it isn't. There's only around 80 cuss words throughout the entirety of the 3 movies, and that seems like a lot until you realize there are 65,000 words over the course of these 3 goddamn movies. And then he calls it a sitcom, but his autistic ass editors couldn't find a good example of this, so they just took a joke and added a laugh track onto it. And yes, his editors are autistic as shit. They're editing his dog shit, and that's coming from me. Look at this fucking video.
And he does the same thing with Suicide Squad. He takes that same sensibility, and now he's doing that with Superman. He's constantly subverting everything.
Yes, you did just see James Gunn. His editors put a random ass clip of James Gunn in here for some reason. But he is right. James Gunn's whole thing is doing something different. He says in this interview,
If you see the same gangster movie over and over, you're going to get so bored. But if you see different types of criminals doing different things, that are involved in different activities, different levels of morality, different styles, it's not going to ever get boring. And I think the same thing is true about superheroes.
so yeah, he's subverting characters, but is that necessarily a bad thing? James Gunn might change some things, but the core of the characters stay the same. The real problem is that you just misunderstand the core of a character.
The fundamental flaw in all Superman movies of my lifetime is the thing that Hollywood cannot say and will not do. The only Superman movie that I have ever seen that uses truth, justice, and the American way is the original 1978 Superman.
Maybe it's because the American way is just one of the many iterations of this quote. You fucking Like, how is this nigga's father not abusive, bro? He probably saw him to think this stupid shit. The newest quote is truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. And it's the best one out of all of them, in my opinion, because it covers most of the other ones. And it's also the one that this movie is trying to capture.
Here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
This is not just a throwaway line. It is deeply important to the character of Superman.
It is deeply important to one adaptation of Superman. This is what I was talking about earlier, when they take the things that are around the character and they mistake it for being part of the core of the character.
Why? Well, because take Superman just as a character. Superman is unbelievably powerful, unstoppable. He's faster than anyone. He has X-ray and laser vision. He's stronger than anyone, right? He's basically a god on Earth, and the biggest god. He's Zeus, right? He can do whatever he wants. And so, why is he the good guy? Why isn't Lex Luthor right?
Because his parents raised him to be a good person, bro.
The only reason why Superman would be a hero as opposed to a villain is because he grew up in America.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I remember putting this video in my notes because I thought it was gonna be some bullshit. But, oh my god, man, this guy is so fucking annoying. Bang, bang, bang. 3 Superman variants that weren't raised in America that were good people. Why? Because who they are raised by determines if they're good people or not.
May blunder, may make mistakes, but overall stands for freedom and liberty and private property and free speech and all of those things.
No, Superman stands for helping people. You're just an asshole.
There's a great comic book called Superman Red Sun. It's an alternative universe in which Superman's capsule from Krypton lands in Soviet Russia. And he grows up as the emblem of Soviet Russia. And he's evil because he grew up in Soviet Russia.
He's not evil, he's just communist, and I know you don't know the difference. And even then, he was being manipulated by Brainiac the entire time. And Brainiac wanted him to become a dictator, just like Injustice Superman wanted to do. And Injustice Superman was raised in America by the Kents, but he was just tricked into killing his wife by Joker.
That's why America is good. Because otherwise, Superman is bad.
No, and I disprove that. And by the way, didn't France symbolically take that statue back because we no longer embody freedom? And didn't they do that because of Trump, who you support?
Hollywood is not run by people who believe that there is such a thing as an ultimate good or an ultimate goal.
That's kind of the point of the movie. The ultimate good is Superman, and his ultimate goal is to make tomorrow better. And the fact that you didn't see that, along with all the other shit that you blatantly miss in this movie, proves that you weren't even paying attention and that your analytical watch was just him looking for reasons to complain about a movie if they didn't fit his exact standards. Moral of the story, if you want 1976 Superman, go watch 1976 Superman. Stop bitching and moaning because adaptations aren't the exact same as something that's already been made.
It's about is goodness and the core values of kindness and compassion towards other human beings, and how it's important no matter what. Every life is sacred.